Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? Affirming, visualizing, staying positive, yet somehow the life you desire remains just out of reach, like watching a movie through a foggy window. What if I told you that the problem isn't your intention, but the intensity of your vibration? Today we're going to explore something that most manifestation teachings completely overlook: the profound difference between vibrating high and vibrating strong, and why only one of them has the power to bend reality to your will. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. We are literally swimming in an infinite ocean of possibilities, yet our limited senses can only detect the tiniest droplet. Has this ever happened to you? You want something desperately, you work hard for it, you push and struggle, but nothing seems to move. That's because you're trying to change the effect without addressing the cause. What we call matter is not the source of reality. It's merely the result of consciousness. Every circumstance in your life, every relationship, every financial situation, every health condition is the physical manifestation of a previous vibrational state. Reality is a mental manifestation, and it responds directly to the frequency you align with. High vibration is usually an emotional peak. It's that moment you feel grateful, inspired, turned on by possibility. You meditate, you journal, you play your favorite music, and for a while you genuinely believe, this is it, my life is changing. And I'm not here to mock that. Those emotions matter, but emotions are unstable. They rise when life gives you a reason, and they collapse the second life reminds you it hasn't changed yet. One unexpected bill, one cold text, one glance in the mirror on a rough day, and suddenly your whole high vibe practice feels like a costume you can't keep on. That's high vibration, powerful but inconsistent. Strong vibration is something else. Strong vibration is embodied certainty. It's a calm, grounded knowing that lives in your nervous system, not just in your mind. It doesn't disappear when the world looks messy. It doesn't need perfect conditions to stay online. High vibes ask, strong vibes decide. High vibes say, please let this happen. Strong vibes move like, this is happening and I'm already becoming the person who can hold it. Be honest, how many times did you feel amazing, then crash the moment you checked your bank account? That crash is the evidence. Because the moment reality challenges you, your body tells the truth. And your body is what your life has been listening to the whole time. So the goal isn't to stay happy. The goal is to become coherent, so your inner state stays steady even when your circumstances are not. Carl Jung didn't treat the mind like a clean, logical machine. He treated it like an energy system. And in an energy system, whatever is running in the background doesn't stay in the background, it drives the whole outcome. That's why your mind isn't the boss. Your conscious mind is the part that makes plans, repeats affirmations, watches videos like this, tries to stay positive. It's the voice in your head that says, I am abundant, I am loved, I am chosen. But Jung would ask a harsher question. What do you actually expect when no one is watching? Because your conscious affirmations are a whisper. Your unconscious identity is a command. If your unconscious is carrying the identity of someone who has to struggle, someone who gets disappointed, someone who never quite gets it, then you can chant all day and still keep recreating the same results, just in different outfits. And here's the part that makes people uncomfortable. The unconscious doesn't respond to your words. It responds to what you embody, what your nervous system treats as real, what your habits protect, what your reactions reveal. This is also why you're not separate from what you're trying to create. Not in some fluffy, magical way, in a grounded way. Your inner state is constantly shaping what you notice, what you choose, what you tolerate, what you walk away from, and those choices ripple outward. You don't attract a new life by begging reality. You align with it by becoming the person who lives there internally first. That's where manifestation stops being hope and starts being structure. Most people try to change their life from the outside in. They change their actions, they start new routines, they repeat affirmations, they do the right steps, and then stare at reality like, okay, where's my result? But that's like standing in front of a mirror trying to fix your reflection by rubbing the glass. You can press harder, you can wipe faster, you can even scream at it. The reflection won't change because the source hasn't moved. That's what most manifestation work becomes, touching the mirror instead of moving the body. Here's the actual chain that creates your outcomes, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. It starts with attention, what you keep looking at, what you keep rehearsing, what you keep feeding with your focus. That attention shapes your consciousness, the state you live in most of the time. Not your best moments, your default. From that state comes identity, who you believe you are at the deepest level, the role you keep playing even when you swear you're done playing it. Identity gives birth to beliefs, the truths you assume about money, love, opportunity, your worth. Those beliefs generate emotions, not the ones you try to force, but the ones that naturally arise. Emotions drive actions, your decisions, your habits, your tolerance, your standards. And those actions create reality, your results. So if identity doesn't shift, results don't stick. You can manifest a win, sure. A little breakthrough, a temporary high, but you'll drift back to baseline because baseline is identity. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the test that exposes your true identity in 10 seconds. Here's the real mechanism most people never learn. It's not your affirmations, it's not your vision board, it's not even your intention, it's coherence. Because if your mouth says, I'm abundant, but your body is bracing for disaster, reality hears the body. You can say, I'm safe all day, but if your chest is tight, your shoulders are up, and your breath is shallow, your system is broadcasting a different message, and that message is louder than your words. Think of it like trying to play a song on 2 speakers at once, except one speaker is slightly out of sync. Same song, different timing. What happens? The sound gets muddy, parts cancel out. You don't get music, you get noise. That's destructive interference in plain terms. Mixed signals create a cancelled signal, and that's what most people are doing with manifestation. Your mind is trying to believe. Your body is preparing for disappointment. Your spirit is exhausted from trying to force certainty. So the field gets a scrambled transmission. Coherence is when those parts line up, when your thoughts, your posture, your breathing, your decisions, your standards, everything starts pointing in the same direction. One unified wave, not perfect, not fake happy, just aligned. That's when you stop leaking power. That's when your presence gets heavier. That's when your choices stop wobbling. And suddenly reality starts moving, not because you begged, but because you became consistent. Here's the 10-second test that exposes whether you're actually vibrating strong. What do you do when nothing changes yet? Not when you're inspired. Not when you just finished a meditation and feel like a glowing monk. I mean, when you wake up, check your life, and it looks exactly the same. Same numbers, same silence, same problem staring back at you like it enjoys your frustration. What do you do in that moment? Because that moment is your real frequency. If you spiral, you're not vibrating strong. If you start checking for proof, you're not vibrating strong. If you chase, over-explain, refresh, stalk, panic plan, or mentally rehearse worst-case scenarios, you're vibrating need. And need is loud. Need doesn't say, it's coming. Need says, I can't handle it if it doesn't. That's the difference. Strong vibration doesn't mean you feel happy all the time. It means you stay steady. You keep your center even when your senses aren't giving you reassurance. You don't turn your life into a courtroom where every bad day is evidence that you're doomed. Let me make it practical. If you're trying to manifest money and the bank account doesn't move, do you immediately tighten up and start scanning for danger? Do you start bargaining with the universe? Do you tell yourself a story about how it never works for you? If you're trying to manifest love and you don't get the text, do you start rewriting your self-worth in real time? Do you start reaching, hinting, checking, decoding, trying to pull a response out of silence? That reaction is the broadcast. And here's the knife-line you need to swallow clean. If your faith collapses after one bad day, it was never faith. It was emotional bargaining. It was you saying, "I'll believe as long as you keep giving me signs." That's not certainty. That's a deal. So here's the upgrade. When nothing changes yet, you don't collapse into urgency. You don't punish yourself. You don't start performing desperation. You hold the state. You breathe slower on purpose. You make the next decision from the identity you claim. You act like someone who can handle delay without falling apart. Because the moment you can stay steady in the absence of proof, you stop vibrating need. And that's when reality starts responding differently. Now we have to go into the part nobody wants to look at. It's your shadow. And the shadow doesn't sabotage you by being negative. It sabotages you by protecting an identity you've been living inside for years. Here's the shadow I see constantly. An addiction to struggle, the identity of the one who's trying. You know that version of you, always learning, always fixing, always working on it, always one more book, one more method, one more breakthrough away from finally being free. And listen, growth is real, practice matters. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some part of you doesn't want the desire. It wants the identity you get from wanting, because wanting lets you stay safe. If it works, everything changes. People expect more from you. You can't hide behind the story of, "I'm almost there." You can't keep blaming the past and still feel innocent. So the shadow whispers, "Not yet." It delays, it complicates, and there are other shadows underneath that one. For some people, it's guilt about having more. Like if you receive, someone else will go without, so you unconsciously cap your own life to stay good. For others, it's fear of outgrowing the people you love. If you become the version of you that's truly confident, truly stable, truly powerful, who won't come with you? And for a lot of people, it's loyalty to family pain. You watched struggle get normalized. You learned that ease is suspicious, that joy gets punished, that too much happiness invites loss. So whenever things start to shift, your system quietly pulls the emergency brake. Not because you're weak, because the shadow isn't evil, it's protection. But protection can become a prison. So let me ask you the question that exposes everything. What would you lose if it actually worked? Not what would you gain. What would you lose about your identity, your relationships, your excuses, your belonging? Sit with that. Because your next manifestation isn't blocked by the universe. It's blocked by the part of you that's still negotiating permission to become someone new. Raising your vibration isn't about pretending to be positive. It's about healing the inner cracks that keep your energy low without you realizing it. Because the moment you stop leaking power, you don't have to force high vibes. You start holding a stronger signal naturally. Here are 3 practices that actually build strong vibration in real life. First, stop checking reality like it's a judge. Some of you look at your bank account, your views, your texts, your scale, your inbox, the way people look at a verdict, and you let that number decide who you are for the next 12 hours. That's not awareness, that's addiction. So set a window, 10 minutes, same time every day. You review the facts, you make a clean decision, and you close the tab. Outside that window, you live as the identity. Not in fantasy, just in leadership. You don't reopen the case every hour. Second, the embodied certainty drill. Feet on the ground. Slow exhale, shoulders drop, jaw unclench. Then ask one question. How would the version of me who already has this breathe right now? Not think, breathe. Let your body answer. Move through 1 minute like that version. Walk to the kitchen like that version. Pick up your phone like that version. This trains your nervous system to treat the new reality as safe. Third, the shadow contract. Grab a pen. Write. The part of me that is afraid of receiving believes hosti, tansky. Fill it in honestly. If I succeed, I'll be alone. If I have more, I'll be judged. If it works, I'll have no excuse. Then answer. What does it need to feel safe while I change? Maybe it needs a plan. Maybe it needs boundaries. Maybe it needs permission. To go slowly. This isn't fluff. This is how you stop fighting yourself and start becoming coherent. Reality doesn't shift first. You shift first. And that's the part most people miss, because they're staring at the outside world like it's supposed to give them permission to believe. They're waiting for a number to change, a person to respond, an opportunity to appear, then they'll relax. But when you start vibrating strong, the first change isn't external, it's internal. You feel less urgency, not because you stopped wanting it, but because you stopped needing it to calm your nervous system. You're not gripping the outcome like it's oxygen. You also notice the compulsive checking starts to die off. You might still look at the metrics, still review the money, still read the room, but you're not doing it every hour like it's a ritual of panic. The obsessive refresh loses its hold because you're not looking for proof anymore. You're looking for alignment, and your boundaries get clearer. Not in an aggressive way, in a clean way. You stop entertaining what drains you. You stop negotiating with chaos. You stop explaining your standards like you're asking for approval. Your no gets quieter and stronger at the same time. Then decisions get simpler. You don't need 10 conversations with yourself to do the obvious thing. You don't overthink every choice. You move like someone who trusts their own direction. And here's the irony. When you stop needing signs, signs show up. Not because you begged harder, because you finally stopped broadcasting desperation. So let me ask you, and I want you to answer in the comments like you mean it. What area do you need to stop vibrating high and start vibrating strong? Money, love, health, or purpose? You're not here to beg reality. You're not here to convince the universe, perform positivity, or emotionally negotiate for scraps. You're here to become coherent. Because your life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are when no one is watching. When nothing is working yet. When the mood drops and the applause disappears. Your life will obey your deepest identity, not your vision board, not your affirmations, not your best days. It obeys the part of you that stays steady when things are quiet, delayed, unfinished. That's where power lives. So if you're done chasing emotional highs, if you're tired of motivation that fades the moment reality pushes back, if you're ready to stop hoping and start embodying, subscribe. Not for inspiration, for integration, for structure, for the kind of inner authority that doesn't need signs to keep moving. Because here's the truth most people avoid. High vibration is a feeling. Strong vibration is who you are when nobody's clapping.